Welcome back to the Virtual Reality Reconstructionist. I'm your host, Dr. Roger Ryan Ryder, founder of 𝗪𝗺 Investigations. This podcast examines how cutting-edge forensic technology is transforming investigations, training, and courtroom proceedings. Today's episode is a solo deep dive into one of the most fascinating frontiers in criminal justice, the use of virtual reality reconstructions in court cases. We'll explore how VR is influencing jury decisions, how attorneys and experts are utilizing it strategically, real-life instances in which VR has changed outcomes, and what it means for the future of justice. This episode is made possible by 𝗤𝗏 by 𝗪𝗺 Investigations, our sponsor. 𝗤𝗏 provides life-saving active shooter survival training and continues to support innovation and public preparedness. Let's start with the basics. Why does VR matter in the courtroom? For decades, we've relied on photos, diagrams, and sometimes grainy videos to explain events. VR flips the script by immersing juries directly into the reconstructed scene. Instead of imagining where people stood or what someone could see, juries can step inside the environment. Research backs this up. In an Australian study, juries who explored a hit and run in VR reached the correct verdict 9.5 times more often than those who only saw photographs. They remember details better and sound is easier to piece the story together. VR also brings empathy into play. When juries stand in a defendant's or victim's shoes, even virtually, it can shape how they understand fear, perception, and intent. That can be powerful in cases involving self-defense or neglect. But let's not overlook the caution. Immersion cuts both ways. VR can be so persuasive that it risks overwhelming jurors' objectivity. A vivid simulation can feel too real. And if biases are baked into the model, they can be amplified. So how is this VR actually being used? Attorneys and forensic experts are partnering with technologists to turn raw data into immersive exhibits. It often starts with 3D laser scanning and photogrammetry, tools that capture a scene with millimeter accuracy. These scans become a backbone of a VR model which can be presented in court. Attorneys deploy VR in several stages, opening statements, for instance, to give the juries a preview of the scene. Expert testimony, where a reconstructionist can literally walk the jury through a crash or crime scene in 3D. Evidence presentation, to virtually back up witness testimony. One striking example is defense attorney Ken Bedouts in Florida, who used the VR and placed a judge inside his client's perspective during a self-defense hearing. Another comes from civil litigation, where attorneys put juries in the driver's seat of a truck to show that was or wasn't visible in the moment of impact. Accuracy is key. Experts must testify about how the VR was made, what data was used, and why it is faithful to the evidence. Opposing counsel will challenge every assumption, from lighting to distances. The following is an ad from our sponsor, 𝗤𝗏 by 𝗪𝗺 Investigations. I'm Dr. Ryder, founder of 𝗪𝗺 Investigations, and a certified instructor of the Alive Active Shooter Survival Training Program. Active shooter situations are unpredictable and fast. When lives are on the line, what you do in the first few seconds can mean the difference between life and death. That's why I offer Alive, a nationally recognized survival training program that teaches you how to respond with purpose, not panic. You'll learn a proven 5-step method that empowers ordinary people to take control in extraordinary situations. A. Assess. Recognize danger early and trust your instincts. L. Leave. Get out immediately if you can. I. Impede. Lock or barricade yourself in. V. Violence. Defend yourself if you must. E. Expose, evacuate. Move to safety when it's clear. Security and law enforcement train for these events. So should everyone, because everyone deserves to go home safe. Preparation is not paranoia, it's protection. Don't wait until it's too late. Learn how to stay alive. Thank you, Alive by 𝗪𝗺𝗺 Investigations. Now back to the Virtual Reality Reconstructionist and its host, Dr. Ryan Ryder. Let's ground this in real cases. Case number 1 involves a cement truck accident. In California, a wheelchair-bound pedestrian was run over in a crosswalk by a cement truck. The defense argued that the driver couldn't see the man due to the vehicle's blind spots. The plaintiff's team built a VR reconstruction from the driver's point of view. Jurors donned headsets and saw for themselves. The pedestrian was clearly visible. That immersive moment helped secure a 7-figure judgment. Case number 2, a yacht accident. In another case, a 70-year-old man claimed he fell because poor lighting made the step inside a yacht invisible to him. The defense used VR to recreate the cabin. Test users could plainly see the step, providing it was noticeable. The case was dismissed on summary judgment, showing that VR can be also defended against false claims. Case number 3, Judge Siegel's courtroom in Florida. And of course, the landmark moment in 2024, Judge Andrew Siegel became the first U.S. judge to put on a VR headset during a criminal hearing. He stepped into the defendant's perspective to evaluate a stand your ground claim. The decision may set a precedent for future criminal cases involving immersive evidence. So now VR in court is not without challenges. Admissibility. Judges treat VR as demonstrative evidence. It must be relevant, accurate, and properly authenticated. Prejudice versus probative value. A VR scene can be so dramatic that it risks inflaming jurors' emotions. Judges must weigh its value against the danger of unfair bias. Biases. Studies show VR can unintentionally amplify racial or cultural biases, depending on how avatars or perspectives are portrayed. Assess and cost. Creating a VR exhibit can cost tens of thousands of dollars. Wealthy litigants may have an advantage, raising concerns about equity. These are essential issues courts are only beginning to address. Where is this headed? Expect virtual jury views to replace costly site visits. Instead of busing jurors to a crime scene, they'll explore it in VR. Augmented reality is on the horizon, where jurors can wear glasses and see overlays, such as bullet trajectories or blood spatter, right in the courtroom. Metaverse hearings are already happening internationally, with judges holding proceedings in virtual spaces. Training programs for lawyers and judges are emerging to ensure they understand how to handle VR evidence. We're watching VR move from novelty to normalcy, much like DNA evidence did in the 1990s. Virtual reality reconstructions are reshaping the courtroom. They can bring clarity, empathy, and accuracy, but they also raise new challenges about fairness, bias, and access. The bottom line, VR is not replacing jurors or attorneys, but it's becoming a powerful tool for truth finding. The legal system is learning how to harness its responsibility. So thank you for joining me in this episode of the Virtual Reality Reconstructionist, and thanks again to our sponsor, Alive by 𝗪𝗺𝗺 Investigations, for supporting conversations at the intersection of technology and justice. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite platform, share this episode, and follow 𝗪𝗺𝗺 Investigations for more insights. Until next time, stay safe and stay curious.